Hello and welcome back to Blood for Flowers by M.C.McNeel. That's me, coming to you from my YouTube channel, so please like and subscribe. And come with me now on a journey through time and space back to 380 BC, ancient Greece. Chapter 22 continues for you, Blood for Flowers. So it came to pass within the hour King Diocles of Sparta ordered 2 of his ships to be made ready for sail. These ships he ordered filled with a wide assortment of gifts of tribute to the nation of Themyscira and their new queen. The gifts included the following: 24 amphoras of wine, 10 jars of anise-flavored elixir called ouzo, 7 large jars of pepper, 2 small jars of saffron, 15 bags of garlic cloves, and 50 bottles of virgin olive oil, all along with 70 bags of grain and 2 large bags filled with gold and silver decadrachma. Now Queen Thera made the wise decision to leave all of the women's belongings there in Sparta, giving all the horses, goats, tents, cooking vessels, textiles, wagons, carts, etc., to the nation of Sparta as a show of respect and affection. Queen Thera ordered only their armor, fruits, vegetables, bread and honey, and goat's milk to be brought aboard the ships. As Admiral Vasha prepared his ships to sail, he instructed his crew to erect 2 large tents upon the deck of each ship. The crew of Spartan sailors did so in a short time and placed in many cushions, silk pillows, and blankets therein so the women would have a safe, restful place to sleep while sailing upon the dark sea, which they knew that they were terrified of. Oh, that's really sweet. They're trying to accommodate them, even in their fear. Oh, I just got stitchings. As everyone set about their task preparing for departure, King Diocles returned to his palace to prepare himself and his guards for the journey east, to the Black Sea. However, as Diocles gave out orders and instructions to his ministers upon his absence, Queen Kiva stirred in her bed, awoken by the sound of her husband's voice, echoing down the palace hall. Queen Kiva stirred in her bed, awoken by the sound of her husband's voice, echoing down the palace halls from his throne room. Queen Kiva arose from her bed, wrapping herself in a long white linen robe. Then she crept down the hall, listening in on the king with his counsel. She heard the voice of the king's physician saying, "I shall prepare a mixture of mint, chamomile, purple coneflowers, and honey. This should enable the women to sleep through the night during the journey. It will also help calm their nerves whilst upon the open water," the physician Cadarios said as he departed the crowded room. Kiva peeked her head around the corner where she saw her husband standing over a table with a map. He had a look of delighted excitement on his face, and he said, "The ships are being made ready. I await word from Admiral Vasha, and then we shall depart." Now Queen Kiva felt a terrible sense of dread at hearing these words imparted by the king. So she spoke up in a small voice, asking, "Are you leaving me, my king?" A note of sad jealousy in her tone, as she had not seen much of her husband since the arrival of these foreign women. Here the men gathered there, quieted themselves. Then each, one by one, made a hasty departure as the Queen of Sparta came into the great room, the bright glow from the oil lamps flickering in her wet eyes. Diocles sighed, then spoke to his wife. "Yes, my good lady, the fates have conspired against us. You see, I have good news and I have bad news," Diocles said as he turned from his maps and papers, giving his wife a somber look. "What of this bad news?" Kiva asked, expecting the worst. Queen Ethera of Themyscira, through old age, has died. Diocles closed his eyes, giving a slight bow of his head, as he held the hands of his wife, whom was shocked by the news. "Oh, no. By Apollo, no." "'Tis true. Yes, now therein lies the trouble. Commander Thera has just this very hour received word of her mother's passing. The emissary brought out the golden crown of Themyscira. The commander is now queen of all of the land that her mother ruled over. I have just witnessed her coronation down in the cherry orchard. Here Kiva's heart went out to Thera, saying to her husband, poor dear Thera, to lose her mother and be crowned in a foreign nation. She must feel terrible. Yes, not only that, but the king of Thrace has a great animosity towards Thera and her nation. We are worried war may have already broken out. This is why I have ordered Admiral Vasha to prepare to set sail. After all, Vasha is the new queen's established breeding partner. A great deal is at stake. He said, lying to his wife's face. I understand, my king. But tell me, why must you make the journey? Surely your men are capable of the task. She asked in a grave manner, as she had heard the rumors of the king's infatuation with Thera, and her husband had not been to her bedchamber in these past few weeks. Well, that's no good. So, why does he have to go? Why is it so muy importante? Okay, well, let's go out and find out, shall we? Okay, continue with chapter 22. Viacles gave Kiva a stern look, for he did not like being questioned by his wife. Few men do. The needs of the people of Sparta will always come before the needs of my bride, he said simply. Knowing a word to the wise was sufficient. I have a duty and a sworn oath to protect the children of this great nation. These women at this very moment may be carrying the fruit of Spartan seed in their bellies. I have an obligation to protect the unborn of Sparta. Queen Kiva thought of her husband's words over carefully in her mind. Then she gave a soft, sweet smile, saying, then take me along on this wonderful journey. Or am I not allowed to board your own ships? She asked, her eyes glistening with bittersweet tears. My queen, you have a duty and an obligation to this nation. You must remain and serve your people as any good ruler would do. Lead in my absence. Tend to the needs of the many families in our shining city upon the hill beside the sea. King Viacles, came the voice of Admiral Vasha as he entered the great room and approached the king and the queen of Sparta. Giving a deep bow to Queen Kiva, he then said to the king, your ships await and we shall set sail at your pleasure. Come, let us take our leave. Viacles said as he shook Vasha's hand, turning away from his wife, who sighed and turned to leave the room. My queen, Viacles called to his betrothed, motioning for Admiral Vasha to wait outside. Yes, my king, she asked in a soft voice as her husband came over to her, holding her in his nice, strong arms. Have you no show of affection for your husband upon my departure this night? Viacles asked as he held his wife close to his body. He could feel her tiny heart beating swiftly in her chest like a frightened bird. Then he moved his face closer to her, and their lips touched ever so slightly. His hot breath smelling of mint and anise. Then, with much gentleness, the king of Sparta kissed Queen Kiva lightly, sweetly upon the mouth. There was no stirring, burning passion in the kiss, just a brief show of affection, and then her husband, the king, departed without a word, just a small kiss, and he was gone. Okay, so that is going to end chapter 22. I'm glad to be writing this for you. So, It's a really tough time right now. And I wrote this like 10 years ago, so everything that's going on with the governments across the nations should be ruled, not abandoned. So if you're in charge and you lead people, never abandon them or forsake them, because then you're not truly a leader, are you? Well, we'll get back to this later, but I hope you like it. Cheers. Have a great day.